boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, closet swing traders. Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic this morning. Hope you guys are well rested, ready to go for today. We got Brian Davis in the house. Good morning. We got Jay up bright and early. Tanya, good morning. We got Bill, Michael Stanley in the house. Marcus, Patrick. Guys are piling in. BEA, beautiful. What is up, Tony? Whew. It's going to be a day. We're going to get a day for sure. Let me get, I guess what we could do is go right into, I think we can get right into trading view. Let's do that one. All right, let me get the screen a little bit bigger for myself. This way I can see what you guys can see. Let's go. Oof, feeling good today. Got my cup of coffee in early today. Yeah, it's going to be that day. Stephen King, good morning. Kyle Bennett. We got Albert Quantrans here. All right. DJ still has shared that intro video with you. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's copyrighted. So, you know, obviously there's a fee attached to it. Just shoot me a message. Shoot me a message in a little bit, and I'll get that out to you because realistically, just completely forgot. All right, team. So we got the market gapping down. Flo is piling in. What is up, Flo? Let's see what's going on in YouTube land as well. What's up, my YouTube people? We got DZ in the house. Good morning. We got Thomas in YouTube land. Perfect. DZ, you're saying blank monitor. That was probably just the black screen before. Just let me know in YouTube if you guys can see the screen. I believe you guys should be able to, but if there's any issues, let me know. Matt R is here. I forgot to say I just play it in the beginning and then I forget about it for the rest of the day. Because the market is open till 4 p.m. and then you got after hours, then you got to take a look at crypto. There's a lot going on. There's a lot to invest in. And then you got real estate. People tell me it's starting to crack. It's starting to crack. I don't know. Maybe. Regardless, we do have the SPY slightly selling off right now. So we got the SPY gapping down. Let's flip it to the daily chart. We talked about gaps. And if Jenny is here, I think I got the recording, so I'll send that to you as well. But we do have a gap down. Lots of selling. Probably some people. Number one, plenty of time. And again, I think this is a wave three. The fact though that we got past that 50. All right, the next target for me is going to be somewhere in this 388 zone. So maybe slightly under 390, maybe slightly under 389, something like that. For today, I don't know. I think we're going to have something similar to this. So, I mean, even if we combine those two candles in a row, decent sell-off. We've already had a big, massive sell-off on last Friday, so almost a week ago from now. And then we had that little retest gap, didn't do much, right? Yesterday we had a little bit of sideways trading until we broke. And now we're getting that little bit of a gap down. So we will see, but I think we are probably at a little bit of support, and this should be a gap. I think actually probably gets bought up at open. If it doesn't, or if we get a quick little drop, I think the drop probably to about 390.83. So we still have $2 to the downside, but realistically, we're at another VPOC. So I'll give and that's kind of the good thing about strategies, right? So the 10 EMA, do I want to go bearish? Probably not. I'd rather wait for bullish. Can I go bullish right at the open? Probably not, because we have to also have the extended hours in place. So we got to get the extended hours into like the candle has to be above both the regular and extended hours on the 10 EMA for the 3-minute chart. So if we're following those rules, if we're just plugging in the formula into that, we're probably going to be forced to wait a little bit at open as well. So the beauty of that is, can we come a little, get some little panic sell right at the open, a couple of red candles? Yes, ultimately, I'm kind of looking for this gap to fill. I think we have maybe something similar to this where we come up and then we fade and just not too much more massiveness from here. But I think patience at the open, I think is okay. We do have the Qs as well. So obviously some news in the chip field. And I'm talking about computer chips, not Doritos. But so we have the Qs gapping down, same thing, gap and go. This one's at a little bit even better of a support, I would say. The SPY has a little bit room to the downside. This one is almost opening pretty much right at some kind of key support. Again, I think this is as a trader, not an investor, this looks like a spot that could be bought up. That's what I think. I think we can get a little bit of buying. Maybe again, right out of the open, we get some kind of a little bit of panic or selling, but I would look for this one to actually come in for a buy opportunity until at least we retest, and then we're gonna have to go from there. But otherwise, that's the thing. So we did talk about there's some chip news. I think the White House came out yesterday and they are restricting sales of certain chips, I believe specifically Nvidia, but I think AMD as well. I think the way they phrase it is they have that bill. I love when the government does this. They're like, all right, we got would they pass $40 billion for the chip industry? But if you take government money, you have to now abide by some rules. So if they want the 40 billion, their restriction is they cannot sell to China or Russia. So you're getting a little bit of a beat down on Nvidia. This one, I don't know how big this retest will be. So this is a retest gap. I think we have what's Intel look like? Yeah, I haven't checked Intel yet. But Nvidia and AMD prior to the market I did. With this gap down, again, this one is a retest gap on a daily, right? So we would be retesting. However, I think we actually have a news cycle that people could be a little bit worried about. I don't know how far this one gets bought up. So the first spot I'm looking for is 145.41 as some type of resistance. If that one breaks, then okay, maybe we get a little bit of a deeper retest into like the 150s, something like that. Keep in mind, Nvidia is a good company. Like they're in 10 years from now, I think the price is higher than this. Right. So if I was looking for a long-term investment and we're getting some kind of a dip on this one, this might be a spot to want to, like, if you're looking at the lens of a long-term investor, this might be a spot like, okay, we're getting kind of beat up, and the news based on that, the Nvidia cannot sell to China or Russia. I don't know if that's still around in 10 years, right? I think that will get lifted at some point. I could also see this coming down maybe a little bit further. We have big sideways trading, some kind of support accumulation period somewhere in this 130, well, probably 131 zone, somewhere in there. So I'll be watching that one closely. But especially if you have the entire market coming down, plus you also have bad news on the chips where that limits and prohibits their business. Yeah, we could definitely see further. But for today, I don't know. I don't know. I think we do get a little of buying because it is technically there's lots of time for people to be short. I think people will want to take some profits on this gap down, and I'd be looking for a buying opportunity. For this one in general, though, I don't know specifically if we fully come back to that gap. Tony says, I hope in 10 years it's higher than my dollar cost average of 200. That's the beauty of dollar cost averaging, Tony. If you still like the company, and I'm not saying today, but if you do like the company, you could continue to dollar cost average throughout the next 10 years, and your dollar cost average is no longer sitting at $200. You'd have that dollar cost average with just a bigger, fatter position in your portfolio. So don't think of it as, hey, my dollar cost average is 200, so it's got to get there within the next 10 years, because realistically, there's other plays, other strategies, especially if Nvidia does keep on just absolutely hammering down. That's going to give you opportunities to lower those costs if you do still like Nvidia, which I think they are a very strong company and they have good product. Valuation wise, I'll have to figure out where I think the price should actually be. But Dale Ryan's in the house. What's up, buddy? Let's take a look at AMD, and then we've got a request for Octa, so we'll take a look at that one too. I think was Octa getting killed? I think I looked at that one in the pre-market. So here's another one. We're gonna have a lot of resistance to the higher side. I didn't even realize that AMD sold off this much. I thought we were still around the $88 range. I think I was looking at this morning or last night or something. I was like, wow, okay. But this one again, 1, 2, 3. This is our 4th day in a row of pure selling on AMD. We do have the news, same as Nvidia. These guys are not getting beat up as much. We are going to be getting down into a bigger support level. We're not quite there yet. This one, I think, has the ability to potentially retrace almost fully. So I think we could get some kind of a buy the dip on AMD. Watch the 84, 87 level. I don't know that I would personally take this one bullish. So I don't think I would go bullish on this one today, just because you do have the negative news around it. But watch this 83.34. See how it interacts there. If we start breaking above that level, we could get potentially back to 84.78. And that would be a full-on retest, and that one we could short down. If it's getting rejected and it's not really doing too well around the 83, if we're struggling around that 83, whatever it is, 48, something like that in that zone, 83.34, if we're having big trouble there, then as a day trade, we might have a good opportunity. That could take us down to 70, 79, 72. So watch that level very, very carefully on AMD. And that will determine go short there. Even if actually, you know what? Even if we do have a short in place, let's say we take 83, whatever I said, 35, 32, 34. If we get in there, our stop is somewhere above that previous pivot. And I want it a little bit tighter, but even with that, there's definitely enough room down to our next target. So it gives us about $1.70 of risk to about maybe $4, $3.50 to the downside. So that could actually be a trade to look at to set up. But watch that $83 level on AMD. We'll see how strong that one is. I don't see much in the way. I don't think that's going to be a major one. I think we might be able to break it, get higher, but watch that level. If we cannot, or we start struggling around that zone, we do have a bigger downside target. Jose says, are we going to the moon today? Depends on what side of the earth you're on. Depends on what side of the earth you're on. Does not, to me, have moon-like feel to the market today. Take a look at Octa. So Octa, I believe, missed earnings and they're gapping down, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. This one's a really nice gap. So clearing everything, I don't think there's anything in the way. Let me flip this actually to weekly chart. We are breaking weekly pivots. We're at a little bit of potential support from, looks like back in September of 2018. So we're back to 2018 levels on Octa. This could be a little support, and this could actually, again, be a little bit of a buy the dip opportunity for today. Or at least I could see this coming back into worst case 83.73. Just again, because we are at a little bit of support, but that is, in a longer term picture, a very negative breakdown. And even if we do wave counts, I would imagine this is some type of a 3, 4. We could be pushing into some kind of 5, but again, that is a big, massive gap down on Octa for sure. Yeah, we're at a little bit of support. I don't know how strong it's going to be, but I think again, gapping into a weekly support probably is a buy the dip for some people. I would suggest going to need more boosters to get to the moon. Yeah, lots of everyone should be taking a booster every hour. Has COVID taught you nothing? Has COVID taught you nothing? All right, let's go to Delta. Someone wants to look at Netflix as well. We'll take a look at that. Delta. Everything's kind of looking the same. This one, so again, this one qualifies out of the gate, which probably most do. AMD does, Nvidia does, Delta does. So just on the pure surface of it, yeah, everything's going to qualify out of the gate, which will give us some opportunities. Do we get the? I'm not even concerned about the non-extended hours. I'm concerned about the I'm not concerned about the extended hours. I'm concerned more about the non-extended. How soon we can get a play. Because do I really want to go short? This gap does look horribly weak, though. I think we get a retest into this one into $30.99. And then my target to the downside is about $30.22. We're smack in the middle of that. So if this thing retests, then we could make some money maybe on Delta today to the downside. So we'll have to check that out. But it's not looking too great. Not a good gap. Let's check out Apple. Apple should also have some concerns, I would assume, and so would Tesla, by the way, with the Chinese news. I think Apple and Tesla both could be in the realm of whether it happens or not. I think we get the extra fear because if the government themselves wants to limit sales to China, I don't see why that would actually not start leaking over to Apple eventually at some point, especially depending on now how China might retaliate to the passing of the new restrictions. And Tesla could be an issue as well, right? So I think Apple and Tesla both in some ways, and again, they're both gapping down. I think Tesla's gapping down. We'll check that out in a second. But I think we might have, even though the story is specifically Nvidia and AMD, I think Apple and Tesla might run into some of those same issues. Again, this is a gap down. This one looks fairly like if we can get a little bounce, we don't need much on this one. So let's see where we open. But if we're opening somewhere around 156.87, I think we could potentially be getting down to 154. Gives us about $3 to the downside. This one we might have a trade. We might get a trade bear. So what I'm hoping is we get that retest, things go a little bit green, and then we can play things to the downside. Let's check out Tesla real quick, and then we'll switch over to Netflix. Watch me. That should be their slogan. Just watch me. That one's creepy, actually. That's actually a creepy slogan. I'm glad that's not their slogan. Just watch me because I'm watching you. That should be the TikTok. That should be the TikTok slogan. We're always watching you. Netflix, we're in a little bit of, Tesla, we're in a little bit of a consolidated area. So again, I don't know how much selling we're going to do or buying, but we should have good support on Tesla here. If we start breaking at any point 269.85, that's going to be our trade today. So that would take us down to 258, gives us about $11 to the downside. This is only one lonely little pivot and has the potential to break. We still, it looks like we have a gap over here as well. So somewhere in this range of 248.35, I don't think is out of the question, at least eventually for Tesla. But I think today probably 258.64 would be a decent target to the downside. But again, I don't know. At the open, we might be in a little bit of a chop zone. I would expect chop there until we start breaking down, and maybe that even like 270. Anything under 270 could take us with probable ease down to 258. Stephen King says on Nvidia, the pre-market low is pretty much low from July 5th, double bottom. Yeah, and again, they're all big gaps too. Like Nvidia, specifically Nvidia, and it's also a retest gap too. So we do have to expect some kind of buying, some kind of I don't even know buying, but profit taking for shorts. They're up a lot, but we are pretty much underneath every single VPOC. And again, we're right in the zone now. This could be some kind of like if we start to break out anywhere higher, we have no interest, not no interest, but very little interest from any of the and I think also Nvidia, by the way, I think they had a downgrade today on top of the chip news. But now we should start having this volume as support. So again, I don't know. I would think if we could get a little bit higher than this one, it's definitely much more in the realm of shorting than going long. But yeah, out of the gate, not quite sure. Lucian says supply chains are still an issue anyways, so this order may not be as big of an issue as it seems. Yeah, there's some truth to that. Depends on how long the restrictions last, though. That's the question. I don't think there's a time frame on how long those restrictions would last for. By the way, I think Ukraine and Russia are still fighting. I haven't heard that in the news in the last 3 months. So apparently wars tend to go, and I mean, not that we're in like, I don't think physical combat with China, but we do have a little bit of Cold War feel to it. Everyone's just trying to get some. Okay, I'm gonna get you, but then I'm not gonna fight you. I'm just gonna insult you until you start forming mental problems, type thing. 30 years of name calling, and then that will show you. So Tesla's got, Netflix has got this big wide open space. After that gap down, we started to breach into that level. This is going to be a big gap to fill. I think this gap does get filled at some point. I don't know how soon this one will get filled, but that is a massive gap. And I think there's even one or two higher than that. Nvidia for the day, I don't know, for day trade purpose, it's not really doing too much. It's kind of inside of this little consolidated range. And I'm not sure which way it breaks, right? So if this could be, and it's not there yet, but this could be some kind of left shoulder, that could be the head, this could be starting a right shoulder. This would be an important neckline on Netflix. So if we do something, actually we could, technically this could all be, let me redraw this out. Hold on 1 second. This could be the head. Technically, this could be the right shoulder. And then I guess somewhere here-ish would be the left shoulder. If that's the case, we already did break down the neckline. This candle yesterday is a retest, and we probably head lower, right? But until we start getting out of this consolidation, which is somewhere around that 223, I guess that zone would be. As soon as we start breaking that, then we have more confirmation that this is definitely probably looking at that right shoulder as opposed to this entire thing being the right shoulder. So if that entire thing is the right shoulder, the neckline is different. But for day trade purpose, I don't really see too much. You should be minting money if you held overnight short. Yes, if you have puts on the table for anything, you're probably happy. Thomas says, any defense plays would you suggest? Lockheed Martin would probably be the go-to for me. I think you're gonna have to give it some time because obviously before you even get to the point where things are needed. But I would, number one, good company. They are already profitable, and I think any further exposure to war or anything like that, which again I don't know that we get to that point, but that would be my defense play. And in some weird way, Boeing as well, but because Boeing does do a lot of stuff for military, but I think pure Pure defense play would be Lockheed Martin. Are day trade puts on the table for QQQs? Yes. If there's a retest. I wouldn't day trade puts out of the gate for me personally. But if there is a retest a little bit later in the day, puts would be the play. As a day trade. JKS, you guys are saying? JKS. Yep. So JKS, a little bit of a gap down. Should find. Well, we have one level of support right here, 58.93. And then we're coming into a little bit further of support, 58.25 ish. So we should have a little bit of support on JKS, but it is a decent gap down. You do have good volume here, but also included with that volume a big wick. So some of that even bullish. I mean, it's a green candle because the candle's higher, but there's still a lot of selling involved. I would still be looking for maybe retesting the 60.16. That would be a much better spot to short, but definitely looks like it's starting to crack, starting to break down. We also have this little hammerish candle that was never retested over here too. So could we get back down to 57.80? That is possible as well. But I would personally, again, I want to wait for things to bounce and hit some higher targets. Whether it happens or not is a whole different thing. All right. Which other ones did we not look at for? I think we covered all 6. Do we look at Apple? See if there's anything else on the table. Well, let's flip it real quick to, once again, the hourly charts. We look at Nvidia. Diesel gap down. Again, a little bit of support. Just very, very little support, but it is there. Depends again on when this thing opens. Right at this level, though. I mean, this is at least on the hourly chart, there's not a lot. All right, let's take a look at Airbnb. Oh, yeah, Amazon. We didn't look at Amazon. Good points. Good points. Airbnb looks like is that really Airbnb? I switched off of it real because I clicked Amazon by mistake, but Airbnb looked like it was about to break some key levels for sure as well. Amazon is still in the middle of nowhere on this gap. This is a tough one to day trade. I think all sentiment is still bearish. I don't think there's. I think there's. Now we have this little consolidated period, so we got this zone that's actually going to provide some kind of support. So probably get into roughly this one. Pretty much into the close of yesterday, 126.75 would be a good resistance for it. Otherwise, I'm looking for that little point, which that would be somewhere in the 124.61 zone. So kind of smack in the middle, but yeah, bias would be bearish, especially if we could get, I'm hoping we get some kind of retest on that one. That one we might actually get to play. And I've been liking the short on Amazon for a minute now. So we are slowly coming in. And again, this is a target 124.65. Realistically, we have a whole bunch of levels. Specifically, though, the next one down, 121.93. But from what I see on my chart, it looks like it is about 30 seconds until the market opens. So once again, party people, I hope you guys are ready. But unfortunately, YouTube, this means we do have to disconnect. It's not goodbye forever. It's just goodbye for now. And we do have a chance to chat again tomorrow. So, or you do have the option. Go to reallifetrading.com. You guys could just take a look at the all-day, all-access pass. You guys could hang out, trade with us all day long. Otherwise, you guys are incredible, and I will catch all of you guys